I'm not like putting pressure on myself like this
That's
is a
good.
retirement fight, but at the same time, if I don't have it, I don't have it.
What's up, everyone? Shakiel Mahjouri here, and you know who this is. He fights Renato Moicano on the main card of UFC 311 on Saturday. Back, the only person I'd say who can rival Luke Thomas in the salt and pepper department. Beneil Dariush, how's it going, bro?
It's going well, brother. I don't know about the salt and pepper, but it's going well.
Okay, nice to see you back. Hey, I do have a question. Last time you and I were here, we did the blind ranking of nicknames. It was a perfect list. And you said that you liked Balls of Steel Beneil Dariush. When are we going to actually get this nickname? Because I put forth the effort. You got me excited.
Um, I don't. I thought you don't get to pick your own nicknames. I thought other people do
I
it.
anointed it to you, man.
Yeah, I've heard you just if enough people start saying it, that's how you get your nickname.
Okay. Careful. You don't know the lengths I'll go to for a bit. I'll
Like
start drumming
if
up
you can
interest.
if you can get it out there enough and people repeat it, like there it is.
All right, here's my challenge. Maybe not in time for UFC 311, but you've
Yeah.
given me a lot to think about, Beneil. Now, I just talked to Charles Oliveira a couple of days ago. That interview should be out for anyone watching, and he will be in attendance. He anticipates that he'll be fighting the winner, but my boy is coming off of the holidays. He is not in any condition to step up. Considering that you and Hanato are on this card, what is your understanding of what happens if Islam or Arman pulls out this week?
I haven't really given it a consideration or been told anything about that. I don't. Are we like the backup? Is that what you're considering us? Is there no
Is that
backup
what
for
I'm trying
this?
to slyly get to? I don't think, and I have read that there is no official backup, but
That's what
it's
I
not
would
an.
think.
I find it's like not unusual for the UFC to put like a ranked fight in the same division on these pay-per-views in the event that they need to swap out some pieces, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, would be obviously if the opportunity comes, I would say yes, but it also it's like who gets it? Is it me or does Moicano get it? And that's the other thing. And then you can make cases for both guys. And obviously I'm going to be biased towards myself, but you can make a case for Moicano as well.
I knew you were getting a little. I had read some interviews that you did, and you were starting to get a little bit antsy about not getting a fight booked. You were considering maybe looking into welterweight. Did we even get to discuss welterweight with the UFC before the Sonato fight came up?
No, I mean the waiting thing wasn't from the UFC, it was me.
Mm.
So right when I was about to get ready and I was like good to go, oh, your meniscus is torn. I was like, what the heck is going on? I was going through my practices. Everything feels fine. And one day my leg starts kind of like almost feels like a cramp inside the knee and it just locks. It wasn't so bad. It'd be like it's locked. I would try to shake it out or do something for you would find certain positions that unlock it basically. I would find the position, unlock it, and then I would just go back to training. But that's not something you want to go into a camp with. So I went to the doctor. They're like, "Yeah, your meniscus is torn and it looks like it's been torn for a long time." They gave me a long spiel. I was like, "I have never noticed my meniscus, giving me issues or problems." They're like, more than likely it was the muscles around it are strong enough and so that's why you didn't have issues. So that was one of the reasons that I wasn't able to fight, I would say around summertime. And then right when they called me, they actually originally said January for me, and I had asked for December and I was like, okay, that's fine, we could do January. This is, I want to say, either September or October. I said that's fine. And then maybe 6 weeks, 7 weeks. So then they called me for December. It was the card that Colby fought on.
Tampa.
Colby and yeah. Anyways, they asked me to fight on that card against Moicano, and I told them basically I can't because bro, I'm not a small guy anymore. Cutting weight is not that easy. Making 155 is not that easy. So I need the full camp. I need the full time, and so we ended up on going with January. If they had told me for December with the 10 weeks notice, a 12-week notice, then I could definitely do it. But I want to say it was either 6 or 7 week notice, and I know I could make the weight. I just, bro, I want to enjoy my camps. I want
Hmm.
to enjoy my training. I want to enjoy the fact that I'm getting sharper, I'm getting faster. I'm finding new techniques and things like that. I don't want my camp to be like, well, did I run an hour in the morning? Okay, I just finished training at night. Am I gonna go walk or do something for an hour so I can make weight? It's just that's not what I want my camp to be. I want my camp to be training properly, eating properly, and then little by little losing the weight.
Is the UFC PI still hooking you up with those chocolate puddings?
Bro, that's fight week. I don't know why, but I always forget to ask for the recipe.
Bro.
Charles, I know it's Charles who makes them, and he does such a great job. Charles, I don't know if you've seen him, he's super skinny. I don't know, understand how he's so skinny. I imagine with him and the skills that he has and the food that he can make, I would just stay home and make like food. Yeah, exactly. I'd just be eating all day, or I would make food for fighters and then I would make extra for myself. And I know this is mostly diet food, but listen, the trick with diet food, if you ever wanted to make it
Hmm.
not diet food, it's very easy. Like, oh, I made you this thing with like no fats and whatever. And I made it for myself. I added a quarter pound of butter. No big deal. You know what I mean? Like it's not hard to change diet food. If you can make diet food taste good, imagine what you could do minus the diet food. Minus the low calorie. So it always shocks me to think that Charles is so skinny.
They say never trust a fat chef, but neither here nor there. I
Yeah.
was reading Dan Hooker's assessment of this fight, and he really didn't mince his words. He's not. He has zero confidence, basically, that Renato Moicano is going to beat Beneil Dariush on Saturday. Do you see a path? Because the way Dan kind of puts it is like Moicano, while he is coming off of that TKO of Benoit Saint Denis, doesn't historically have a lot of knockout power. He's not convinced that Renato is as sharp as you on the feet, and he definitely is not convinced that Renato can hold his own on the ground with you. Do you see a path to victory for Moicano here?
Yeah, actually I do. I'm preparing because Moicano, for example, when he fought Brad Riddell, he looked super fast and super sharp in his striking, very dangerous. And then, the last couple of fights he's had, he's been able to just get these guys down. And once he gets these guys down, he's been able to do a lot of damage. So I think he's got a lot of paths to victory. And I think his best skill is experience. I think he's been able to figure out, okay, this is what I can take advantage of this guy. That's what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to take advantage of this guy. What I'm going to do. So in order for me to make it look as easy as everybody thinks it is, I have to be a step ahead in the game plan of this fight. I have to basically implement my game plan while shutting down his. And obviously, I can't really go into my game plan.
Can we go into obviously coming off the Tsarukyan and the Oliveira fights? Which listen, I'll put up my biases right now. Big Beneil Dariush stand here, so that was uncomfortable for me to watch. What is the biggest area of improvement coming out? Like, what was the real learning lesson for you heading out of those fights into this one?
It's a tough question because I think the biggest thing is just it was humbling. I would say, you get humbled. As far as I didn't really see anything in terms of technique. I could have really changed too much, and so which is even more frustrating if you think about it. If you can't really think of a technique or situation, that means you got to basically try to reassess everything and work on everything. So it's been one of those things. This last year has been just like, how about this? We just try to make every single thing better, and so that's what I did because the fights were kind of short. I didn't I wasn't really losing until it was over, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. In the Charles fight, it was back and forth, and then I got the takedown, and then after the takedown, for whatever reason, I just wasn't really there anymore. And then with the Arman fight, it was 30 seconds, 40 seconds. I didn't really get a chance to really assess well the fight, so I just was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, it's time to just get back and kind of work on everything. But I would say the it's just humbling, bro. That's the best way to put it because you can learn from a lot of situations, but unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of situations,
Mm.
situational battles or techniques and stuff like that. And so it's just one of those things where it's like maybe you're just not good enough. Get your ass back in the gym and work hard and be good enough.
I don't know if kinship is the right word. Maybe you can help me fill in the blanks, but sort of looking at the winning streak Renato has put together in this, I wouldn't say late stage of his career, but, well into his UFC run, in some ways reminds me of the run that you put together after the Alexander Hernandez loss that got you onto the cusp of a title shot. Um, do you see anything there? Is there any sort of, I don't know, like shared respect or sympathy or excitement for what he's done? Because you've been through that journey.
Yeah, I mean, I just have a lot of respect for Moicano in general. I inside the octagon, obviously, I think he does great work, and this run he's on is absolutely fantastic. The fact that I get to even fight him, I consider a an honor because he's on a win streak. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not, and so it's a pleasure basically to fight him. And then as far as his character outside the octagon and the way he speaks, you know, maybe I wouldn't say it the same way he says it, but we agree on a lot of things.
Mm.
So I respect the man inside and outside the octagon. Obviously, I don't think I curse as much as he does,
You
but
definitely. I don't think anyone does.
but he has his messaging. I think is pretty proper. So I would agree with a lot of the things he says.
Two sides of the same coin. Before we
Yeah.
finish on some rapid fire, the interview you and I did in person in Vancouver before the Oliveira fight really stuck with me. And you were talking about, you kind of opened up about the thoughts of retirement that were swirling coming out of that coming out of the fight against Hernandez. And you said that you believe that God is in the business of rolling stones. So I hate to look at a worst case scenario, but we lose this Moicano fight. Again, 3 fight skid. Where is Beneil Dariush at that point?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know because I'm not like putting pressure on myself like this
That's
is a
good.
retirement fight, but at the same time, if I don't have it, I don't have it. That it's that simple. I believe I'm gonna win. I believe I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna make it look not easy, but I'm gonna look good out there. But if it's not that, then it's not that. It's one of those things I have to. I'm only going to be able to really tell you after the fight because um, I don't have a clear answer right now.
Well, I always appreciate the candor, and I have infinite more confidence in your fighting skills than I do in your dancing skills. But I'm glad that you busted it open for your brother's birthday. How would Beneil Dariush rate himself as a dancer on a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh man, I'm well, I would say a three because I think if you're a two, you're basically a two is like you just learned a thing or two and you're pretty terrible at it. And a one is you have zero dancing skills. Like you don't even know what dancing is. So I think I'm a three. I know some moves from when I was a kid. Assyrian dancing and some Persian dancing too. And then I've never really made any progress. I've learned them and I just kept them in my back pocket when I need them.
Yeah, well, let me start by saying I don't think I would score myself much, if at all, higher than you. So we're in the same boat here. Are we
Uh,
hot or cold on the One Piece live action show? Did you see any of it?
I haven't seen the live action. I just caught up on the anime because I normally just read it. And it's a little bit further, whatever, but it's been on a pause on the manga too. So I just caught up on the anime, and that's like 1,000 episodes or something. I was about 100 episodes behind, so I just caught up on that. But so far I've heard good things. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard good things. I'm gonna be a harsh critic, so it's probably better I don't watch the live. Yeah.
I don't want to gatekeep, but is it even possible? Like, how would I go about? I've seen bits and pieces here, but how would I go about getting into One Piece from start to finish? Because as someone who's seen episodes like sporadically or out of order, the thought of even starting to climb the mountain that is 1,000 episodes of One Piece is just—it's already like a non-starter for me.
I think it would be way faster if you read it,
Okay.
and then so I would say it's way faster to read it, and then when you're reading it, it's pretty straightforward in the beginning, but then the chapters do start to get complicated. And then when you're like, wait, I'm kind of not getting this, that's when I would like watch the anime. I would be like, okay, this chapter is this episode. I would go watch the anime. And then if get hooked on it, you're going to keep going. But overall, I would say reading is faster.
All right, last one for you. I was reading Alex B's Humanizing Athletes series that he does, and you listed at the time, probably it was a couple years ago, that your favorite game is Warcraft 3. Now, I know you're busy as a father of 3 daughters, but have you played anything in the last 23 years that
Okay,
stands out?
so I have moments of where like, okay, I need my brain to just shut down. And
Hmm.
so there's games in my car. The Tesla has a couple of games. One, man, why am I forgetting them? One is like one of those airplane games where you're just dodging stuff and destroying stuff. And then there's another one called Vampire Survivor. And those are the 2 games I played. And I'm the reason why I don't play games is because if I start something, I have to finish it. And when I say
Mm.
finish it, it has every single thing has to be done in the game. So I've done that. Those are the 2 things that I can think of, and that was that took a lot of time. Like that was time consuming. So I had to find like when the kids are sleeping or the whole family's sleeping. Sometimes I would not sleep that night, and see this is why I don't
Mm.
play games because they mess with my brain. I have a like you have to finish the quest kind of thing
Gotcha.
mentality, and so sleep, all this other stuff doesn't really do anything for me.
Yeah, I tend to be in the same boat, and I used to love playing like long 60, 80 hour RPGs, but now it's got to be like a 20 hour or less, like story focused, but like singular thing. Because if it's any
Okay,
longer than 20 hours, I'm screwed.
let me put it this way: if I had gotten into World of Warcraft, you would never see me in MMA. You would have never seen me in MMA. Because right when I started training jiu-jitsu, World of Warcraft
Hmm.
came out. This was 2007. I started training, and around that time. It came out earlier, 2006, I think. But I never really got into it. And thank God, bro. I think it was like a $5 a month charge in order to do it. Obviously, I have the $5. It's not like I don't have the $5, but if I started that, bro, I would just be a fat slob in my room on a computer to this day. And I definitely would not have a gym. I would not have a kids. That's the problem with me.
Gotcha.
This is the reason why I don't mess around with video games because I see my friends and I wish I had that. They'll play and they'll be like, "Oh, that was awesome." They play it for 2 hours and
Move
they're like,
on with
"Okay,
their
I'm
day.
done."
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't have
That's
that.
not
And then
Beneil.
if you play a game that is like, "Oh, you just play this for an hour," there's no ending. There's
Like
no
a,
period at the end if that makes sense.
yeah,
For example, you play Mario Party,
yeah, or Call
like
of Duty or something. Yeah.
Call of Duty, like you just there's no actual ending to the story. Yeah, I don't do well with that stuff.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you have bottled that obsessive energy and put it towards a fruitful UFC career, fatherhood, lots of good things. Bring some good coffee, I know. But Neil, I gotta
Yeah,
let you go. So
thank
I
you.
want to let you have the last word. So very quickly, guys, thanks so much for watching the video. Subscribe, tap the bell, thumbs up, give us your prediction. Beneil Dariush, Renato Moicano, UFC 311 on Saturday. Beneil, if there's anything you want to tell the people, the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, I just appreciate the people, man. I plan on putting on a good show, best performance, and I hope they don't miss it.